Yes, hello everybody. Hope you're all doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome to this predictions video. I'm going to be talking to you about the EFL Championship that kicks off tonight. That kicks off in about, I believe, in about 2 hours at the time of recording. Apologies for the late record. Uh, mm, been busy all week, but anyway, we're just gonna go straight to it, right? The championship really is an unpredictable league. The championship is the second tier of English football. So what I want to do is I'm going to be ranking the teams from bottom up. So starting from the team that I think will finish bottom to the team that I think will win the championship. So yes, the bottom three get relegated, and then the top six either go into automatic promotion or into a playoff place. So without further ado, the team that will finish bottom of the table is Rotherham United. Rotherham United did well, staying up last season, but I think there's going to be a second season syndrome. Staying in this division will be for me a success for Rotherham. Of course, last season they were able to defy the yo-yo system. For several seasons prior to last season, they were somewhat of a yo-yo club, yo-yoing between League One and the Championship. But by surviving last season I think they finished. Was it? I think they're just above the relegation zone. I think they finished about 20th. Is it no? They finished 19th. 19th. They finished above QPR and Cardiff. So yeah, I think this time they should be relegated. Their quality isn't good enough, and I think the other teams that are in the division are a bit better. So in last place, Rotherham, second bottom, in my prediction will be QPR. Now QPR fans should be nervous after a near relegation situation last season. If you recall, QPR were at one point a promotion hopeful under Michael Beale. But after Michael Beale, I think Michael Beale left for Rangers. Uh, After Michael Beale left for Rangers, they were struggling for survival. And I think they assured their survival with a game to spare, if I remember. With a game literally to spare, they were able to affirm their status in the division. But now, fortunately, also for QPR last season, because there were teams like Reading, a team like Reading, if you recall, who were docked points, they were relegated. Reading, Blackpool, and Wigan were relegated. So if you recall, Reading were docked points. I think I forgot now, maybe some 6 to 10 points. I forgot the actual number. And then Blackpool and Wigan Athletic were definitely out of depth in the championship and got relegated. I think the QPR manager Gareth Ainsworth has a job on to keep the West Londoners' heads out of water. So I'm saying QPR, if they are to survive again this season, that will be a success for them. So 23rd QPR, 22nd Sheffield Wednesday. I think Sheffield Wednesday, they got promoted. Yeah, they got promoted via the playoffs last season, and a bit of an unknown quantity under new head coach Cisco Munoz. Uh, they got promoted via the playoffs, and the recruitment has not been good enough, in my opinion. There's too much reliance on Barry Bannan, and that may not be enough to stay in the championship. So survival is definitely the name of the game. Is a newly promoted side, so they would want to stay in the division. So I predict them to complete the relegation set. So in my bottom three, I'm predicting Sheffield Wednesday to finish 22nd, QPR and Rotherham United to finish bottom. But right above now, out of the relegation zone, to survive by the skin of their teeth, it's Plymouth Argyle, another newly promoted team. So basically, what I'm saying here is I'm predicting a relegation playoff between Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday. I'm predicting a relegation playoff between those two teams. And yeah, what do you call Schumacher has done a good job bringing them back into the second tier of English football for the first time in I think over 10 years, I believe. And I think they will survive by the skin of their teeth. Maybe It's just me going by heart, but I think they will survive by the skin of their teeth. So narrowly above them, I think 20th place would be Birmingham. I think Birmingham uh, will finish above the relegation zone. It's a common feature that for the past 4 or 5 seasons, Birmingham come in as one of the relegation favorites, and they've survived almost every time. And they've survived every time, actually, almost comfortably at times, but not too comfortably. I mean, they're of course under new ownership this season, and of course we saw in the news NFL star or NFL GOAT rather, Tom Brady is among, I think he's among the co-owners. I'm not so sure about the structure, but I believe he definitely has a stake in there. And yeah, the manager John Eustace will have a job on to survive. Survival is the name of the game. But I think they will flirt a bit with the relegation zone, but I think they will end up staying in the league. In 19th place, we'll have Cardiff City. Cardiff City, the Bluebirds, have a good squad. I think they have decent players. They just got Aaron Ramsey returning, and that should be enough to keep them in the league. I think Cardiff City really, I think defensively they're weak, and therefore will struggle again. But I think because the teams below them are a bit worse, hence why Cardiff City will survive. Right above them, I was debating in 18th place. I wasn't sure to say this, but some of you may be flabbergasted. But I'm saying 18th place, Huddersfield Town, which is saying Huddersfield Town will survive. They will survive. Some of you have predicted relegation. A lot of the pundits out there predicted relegation for Huddersfield Town, but I think they should survive. They should do enough to survive. Surely, last season they, of course, they narrowly survived, and uh, should do the same again. They did finish 18th place though, uh, but they had a bit run in this towards the end of the season. They should again survive relatively comfortably. Or not, of course, again they will flirt again with the relegation zone, but 18th place for Huddersfield Town. In 17th place, Bristol City. Uh, Bristol City fans may be disappointed with this, but I think a mid-table finish would be a success for Bristol City. Again, their squad lacks a lot of depth, so they're just not good enough to challenge any of the top teams, but definitely should be good enough to stay in the league and survive comfortably. Nothing really interesting happening at Bristol City, really. So expect mediocrity. And right above them, 16th place should be in my House City. House City should finish 16th place. I think they do have decent players like Xavi Simons, Estupinan, Adama Traore, just to name a few, with some decent Premier League experience. But I think Rossinia is a decent guy. I think he's the coach. He's a decent guy and should be good enough to keep House City from any relegation danger. Although for House City, they should be looking up instead of looking down. But therefore, I think finishing 16th really, I guess that should be it for the season. They're comfortably as they look to build on a platform in which they may eventually challenge the top teams. So therefore, yeah, we go to 15th place, Stoke City. They have a good squad, but they are my thing is that they have players like Dwight Gale. Stoke City really, in my opinion, really by now should they've not since they were relegated in 2018, they've not really had a promotion push, really. Even a playoff push, I don't remember even Stoke City having a playoff push since they were relegated in 2018. So the fact that they're relying on players like Dwight Gale just tells me that Stoke City have no chance of troubling any of the top teams in the division. However, again, they should be too good for relegation. So mediocrity. And in 14th place, Swansea City. Again, another mediocre season. They've just lost their manager, Russell Martin, to Southampton, who were recently relegated. So while their former manager, should theoretically be striving for promotion with Southampton, Swansea City themselves will be again in stark mediocrity because who really are they going to finish ahead of, aside of the teams that I've just listed? Although I've heard some people suggest that they could have a good season, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think Swansea City, this is another season of mediocrity, and 14th place, Swansea City. Just above them, 13th place, we have Preston North End. So Preston North End, yeah, Daniel Johnson is a loss. They signed Wilkin though, but I think for them, what I've seen is there's a lack of goals. So therefore, they will not push any higher in the table because of the lack of goals, of course. But other than that, I think mid-table obscurity should be it, and I predict them to finish 13th place, just comfortably, really comfortable as it gets, for anyone. So in 12th place, now moving to the top half of the table, we're on the 10th minute of the video, 11th minute. We are moving on to the top half of the table, and for me, in 12th place, top half should be Coventry City. And some of you may be disappointed with me saying this because Coventry City have really made good strides. They lost the championship playoff final last season to Luton Town. So I'm expecting a hangover from that. Uh, Hangover, kind of like similar to one that Huddersfield Town had last season, but maybe not as bad. Not as bad. I don't think Coventry City will have as bad a hangover as Huddersfield had last season. So, but I'm predicting them to drop. It's going to be a significant drop. I think last season they finished in 5th place. Lost, I believe, on penalties to Luton Town. Yeah, they lost on penalties to Luton Town. So, yeah, 12th place Coventry City. In 11th place, this may surprise a few, but Ipswich Town. I think newly promoted Ipswich Town should be good this season. I would have said higher, but that'll be reaching. I think they'll be good. I think they'll have a good season. They got promoted from League One. They won League One quite comfortably, I must say, and they should be comfortable again in the championship, but just not enough to be in a playoff place. I think just finishing 11th should be good, mid-table, just solidifying themselves in the championships. Yeah, and they should survive very comfortably. And of course, noticeably, they've got Omari Hutchinson, who's a loanee from Chelsea Football Club. So Chelsea Football Club is my team. So I'll be keeping an eye on him and on Ipswich Town, and I think he should help propel Ipswich Town into a safety position in the league next season. In 10th place, we've got Millwall. 10th place, I think Millwall, which will be slightly disappointing given the season Millwall had last season. They came so close to finishing in a playoff position. And I kind of expect them to do the same again. I do expect them to go for it again, but may miss out. Gary Rowett has been their manager for 4 years, which is rare in the championship. So Millwall must recover. So, which is fair, but really, surely Millwall should be pushing for a playoff place and not ruling them out. I just think they lack a little bit of the quality that will be required to finish in the top 6. But I'm keeping an eye on them, keeping an eye on Millwall. But I think they'll finish 10th. They'll finish in 10th place. Just above them will be Blackburn Rovers in 9th place. In 9th place, Blackburn Rovers, who like Millwall just missed out on a playoff spot. They lost Breton Diaz, so that's a big loss. They have a clear pressing identity under John Dow Thomason. I fancy them to make another push for the playoffs this season, but again, will narrowly miss out. Players like Adam Morton and Luis Travis, uh, it's a good midfield, as well as Sigurdsson. I think they'll make a challenge for the playoffs, and again, we'll be keeping an eye on them. They really should be in the Premier League. Blackburn Rovers are one of 6 different teams to have won the Premier League. No, not the Championship, Premier League in the past. I'm talking about the past in this one. So really, for the stature that is Blackburn Rovers, they really should be in the Premier League. And but no, I don't think they will make it this season. I think they have to wait because the teams above them are a little bit stronger. For example, in 8th place, now going to 8th place, West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich Albion have a strong squad, a good manager, Carlos Cobran. As long as they don't lose any more players until the end of the summer, I think West Bromwich Albion should finish in eighth place, should challenge actually even for a playoff place. But I think they'll have a good season. Maybe again narrowly missing out. Am I missing something here? Because I think West Brom, they did well last season under Carlos Cobran. They fell off a bit. I think they finished ninth. Yes, if I recall right, they finished ninth under Carlos Cobran. So he revitalized their season last season, but wasn't tailed off at the end there. But I expect them to, would they do the same? I think they'll be better than last season. But how much better will it be good enough as to the other teams? I don't know. So this should be an interesting season for West Bromwich Albion. Right above them, missing out on the playoffs. This one is a tough one. The seventh place team. Sometimes I ask for teams in the championship, which one is worse? Finishing in seventh place or losing the playoff final? Which one is worse? Finishing in seventh or losing the playoff final? But anyway, some say finishing in seventh. In seventh place for me would be just finishing outside the top six, which is the playoff. In seventh place would be Watford. I think Watford will finish in seventh place. They will finish just about, although some people have suggested that Watford should finish lower, but I think because of the structure that they have, yes, they've lost players like Ismail Assar and so on, a lot of players who were Premier League regulars not too long ago. We got used to watching them in the Premier League a few years ago. They got relegated though. Guys like Ismail Assar, I think they'll not only miss out on the playoffs, I think they will just lack that quality. Although I think Watford as a club, they should restructure, revitalize. I think would they come back? Yes, they will come back. Maybe not too soon. I think they will do well. They will do well even just to challenge for the playoffs. So yeah, Watford to finish just outside the playoffs will miss out and will miss out on a top six place, in my opinion. So now we're going into the top six, the playoff positions now. The top six, the playoff positions are from third place to sixth place. The promotion positions are the top two. Sixth place, this will surprise a few. Sixth place, sixth place, sixth place. This will surprise a few. But for sixth place, I am going with Southampton. Southampton. I know a lot of you are predicting Southampton to be in the automatic promotion. They're one of the favorites already automatically after being relegated from the Premier League. But my reason why I think Southampton will not be promoted automatically, they could still be promoted, but via the playoffs, but just not automatically because they have such a young team. That's why. And also, not just that, that's one reason they have a young team. The other reason being they're set to lose some of their star players. So they may just have a slow start, but they should have enough in them to finish in at least a playoff place and even get promoted. Who knows? Maybe even be in an automatic promotion push. But I think Southampton will finish sixth. Yeah, they will likely lose star players like Romeo Lavia and maybe even James Ward-Prowse if they've not even lost them already at the time of listening to this. So Southampton will finish sixth place. Fifth place will be Sunderland. Sunderland, I'm fancying them to have another run at the playoffs. I believe they lost the playoffs last season. Yes, they did. They were in the playoffs. They finished sixth. This time I'm predicting them to finish just one place above fifth. Although that may be tricky. I think I won't be too strict on the actual positional order. I'll look at it as a win if Sunderland finish in the playoff in whichever position. But I'll say this is a maybe playoff finishing one place above they did last. They'll finish in fifth place, not in sixth place. They have good players like Patrick Roberts, Alex Pritchard, Luis Semedo, Jack Clark. Very pretty good. And also, for me, a big thing for Sunderland, why I could have even easily put them higher. A big thing for Sunderland is their manager, Tony Mowbray. I think with Tony Mowbray at the helm, they would at least for sure. I'm almost sure of this. I would put my house on it almost. They're finishing in at least a playoff position. So fifth place, Sunderland. In fourth place, I have Norwich City. Listen, Norwich City, I can never back against Norwich City in the championship. despite them having a poor season last season. Last season they finished 13th and were woeful. I think they only won, I was listening to something, they only won 2 of the last, 11 matches? Norwich City. So it's just they were woeful last season, really, especially for a team of their reputation in the championship. So I think Norwich City will finish in the. I can't back against Norwich City in the championship. Although the squad itself is pretty solid, my issue again is they lack a 25 goal striker. I mean, Josh Sargent, Ashley Barnes, okay, they're all good players, but you know, if it clicks for them, they may end up in an automatic promotion position. Who knows? But for now, let me give them fourth. Although some people are saying they won't finish even in the playoff place, I'm giving them fourth place. I'm putting them in the playoffs. And in third place, rounding up the playoffs, will be Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick made a big impact at Middlesbrough last season, and they too are well fancied to make another go at it. I fancy them to be there or thereabouts in the automatic promotion mix, but they will miss out because my the top two are just a class above the rest, I believe. And the only reason why Middlesbrough will miss out, I think, on the they will miss out on automatic promotion is because of the top two, not so much because I think all things constant, they are good enough even to be championship champions. And especially with Michael Carrick, I think he's turning out his, well, I would say, up and coming good managers. I'm not gonna say he's a top class manager, not yet, of course, but he's up and coming, you would say, and he's getting there, and he's making a big impact. So I think Middlesbrough will have another go at promotion. They will have another go at the promotion mix, but will fall short because Leeds United and Leicester City are just too good and therefore I think rounding off the playoffs will be Middlesbrough. So the top two, because I've already said it's top two will be Leeds and Leicester. But in what order? I think Leeds United will, under Daniel Farker, I think they'll finish second. And Leicester City, I predict them to win the championship this season. I think both teams already will benefit. Leeds United under Daniel Farker, they have a manager who has experience in the championship and has won the championship twice before with Norwich City in the past. So he has so much know-how, so much tactical know-how of the championship. And with Leeds United, with already the infrastructure that they have as a club from being in the Premier League the past 3 seasons, they should come back quite easily. Really, they should really come back quite easily. Of course, they will face competition from the likes of Middlesbrough, maybe Southampton as well, but and also Leicester City. But I think Leeds United should finish second, maybe just behind first place, and first place will be Leicester City. Leicester City will win the championship very comfortably, like Burnley did last season under Vanson Company. This season, Leicester City should win quite comfortably the championship. They have all the ingredients for a team to win the championship. I expect them to do it very easily, quick timing, as long as they can as long as they can solidify their defense somewhat. Last season, a reason why they got relegated was because of how leaky their defense was. But they in the championship, they should be able to paper over the cracks. They should have enough quality. They should be good enough to win the league and be promoted comfortably, along with first place Leicester City, second place Leeds United. So basically, this is what overall, just to sum it up, before we go to the playoffs, my prediction for the playoffs: first place Leicester City, second place Leeds United, third place Middlesbrough, fourth place Norwich City, fifth place Sunderland, and sixth place Southampton. That's my overall top 6. That's my top 6. Now, what happens in the playoffs now? The playoffs between Middlesbrough, Norwich, Sunderland, and Southampton. So how it works is, of course, Southampton, who I predict to finish 6th, will face Middlesbrough, who I predict to finish 3rd in the playoff. And then the other playoff will be Sunderland, who will finish fifth, sorry, versus Norwich, who finish fourth. So for Middlesbrough and Southampton, that's a tough one. I think Middlesbrough will lose this one. I think Southampton will win the tie. They'll probably win the playoff tie. So Southampton to beat Middlesbrough, despite Middlesbrough finishing ahead of Southampton in the table, in my prediction. Southampton to beat Middlesbrough in the playoff semi-final. In the second playoff semi-final between Sunderland and Norwich City, I expect Sunderland to prevail. I think they'll have a little bit more in their locker. So I think Sunderland and Southampton will be the playoff final. The red and white stripes thing to be like a red and white stripe derby in the playoff final. And the winner of the playoff final will be Southampton. So you see what's going to happen. The same three teams that got relegated last season will get promoted this season. So Southampton to beat Sunderland in my predicted playoff final. So yeah, that's just about it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you think about these predictions. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I delusional? Maybe I am. I'm both. Thank you for tuning in. Cheers, guys.